Good morning, guys. Okay, 21st of April, and we're going to have a look at our US indexes. So as always, we'll start on the E-mini S&P 500, and then we will move on to the Nasdaq. We'll have a quick recap from last week in relation to what we were looking at in the Sunday analysis, and then we'll have a look at the market for the trading week ahead in terms of day trading, and we'll do it on both markets. Okay, so S&P 500. We had broken up above the sloping support and resistance. The chart is still marked up from exactly how we did it last week. As we move on to next week, I will get rid of all these black lines to make it a little bit easier, and we can adjust the zones as necessary. We had a couple of potential key levels of support. This one right here, 2664 to 2653.54, was potentially a good level of support. We still got the black line sitting right here for bounces. Let's get rid of it. Monday came down, tested this level as support, and we have pressed higher. Now what we went over after that was that if we start to break up above this level, 2671 to 2681, it's likely we would then see another strong bullish bounce, and we could look for potential bullish positions up into at least 2696 to 2692, but we would then really be expecting a test of 2709 to 2714. So we got the break up above. Let's get rid of some of these so we can see it a little bit better. We got the break up above, or the start of the break up above on the Monday. And then what did we get? A continued strong bounce from the Tuesday all the way up into our key level, which is where we started to get back into very strong resistance. Key resistance level, market comes down in a very strong way. As we started to break down below this level, next key support was at 2664 to 2654 for bullish bounces. Nice bullish bounce coming into the market. And what we've gone over is, if we start to break below this level, it's becoming a good potential area of resistance to start looking for those stronger moves down. So what I'm going to do quickly is just pause the video, get rid of these black lines, and then turn it back on. Okay, so the first thing is that I'm still pretty happy with all of these zones the way they are set. What I'm going to start doing is I'm actually just going to write these into the description below the video so you can see them that way. I'll write in the main ones, so basically from this level down to this level, that we are potentially going to be testing coming into next week. Now, we're back down into very key support where the market has previously tested. We've had a number of swings here. One strong one, then we had two coming up and holding at the level, and then three. So the potential head and shoulders pattern with the strong breakup from that pattern. Coming back down into this level, we've already seen the buyers stepping in as we were looking for last week, but it remains a key area of support. Now, if we start breaking down below that level, it's also very good resistance to look for the moves down toward 2644 to 2636. We have the MA200 sitting in there on the daily time frame now. It's a good potential level of support. Below that level, again, it becomes really good resistance, because basically if we're breaking down below this level, it's potentially showing us the failure of holding this head and shoulders, turning the market more bullish. So breaking below here, really, there's a strong possibility we'll see the market coming back down to test 2628 to 2620, which then again would become a good potential level of support. If we start getting down below there, really, we've got that little bit more minor level, 2612, 2609, but I would then be expecting us to be coming back down to 2600 to 2585. So it really all depends on how we start to hold at these levels right here coming into next week. First thing is they both remain good levels of potential support. We're day traders, we're waiting for the market to give us the evidence of what it's doing before we look for the next movements. We don't need to look for longer term movements. We'll let the market tell us day to day. Strong resistance up above. Nice confirmation of the level with this spike down on the 19th of April. Basically testing almost to the point at that 2681 to 2671 zone. Yeah, strong resistance. If we're starting to break up above that level, really, I'd be expecting us to come, I don't want to say back up to this level, because the way the market is starting to reject, and the way the market has been rejecting multiple times now, there is the possibility that we'll see a false breakup before we see more selling pressure coming in. So if we are breaking up above, I'm only really happy to look for 2692 to 2696. And then if we breaks above that level, which would open up the moves towards, really, I would say, the lows at 2703. So really 2700, the round number. For the S&P, those are the main things coming into next week. A little bit neutral. Really, the market is still giving us overall bearish signs on the daily time frame. However, because we've broken up from this head and shoulders and the sloping support and resistance, really, I want to see what we're doing down here. This is going to give us the clues moving forward now. If we are continuing to hold, it's great to look for bullish bounces. If we're starting to fail at these levels, it's suggesting potential further bearish action down toward this 2600 level at a minimum. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing for the Nasdaq. So with this market, what we had last week was really, this was the very important area. 2605 to 2665 roundabout. We've got the line here. Basically, it's key support if we're sitting up above it. If we start to break down below, it becomes key resistance. We're looking at it as a bit of a pivot point. Again, it was lining up with that sloping support and resistance when we started to break through, and where the market had been holding for multiple tests. So coming into Monday, break down to test at our support level. Let's make it a little bit bigger. That we had at 6650 to 6636. Market starts to press up. If we were starting to break up above this level, we're then looking for further bullish bounces, at least up into this spike down from the 5th of March. But we're expecting a test of 6760 to 6800. Markets came up. It's tried to break up above this level, holding on to it on the 18th, and then we started to get the strong move back down. Strong move back down on the Friday, testing at resistance all the way down to our support level at 6650 to 6640. Really coming into the sort of latter half of the week. With subscribers, the preference was really looking for bearish sentiment. We pressed up into such key levels of resistance that became the preference. Also with the FTSE 100, we've pressed up quite a significant amount on the FTSE, but we're testing at very key levels of resistance now. We'll go over that tomorrow. But yeah, the preference became looking for weakness. Okay, I'm going to pause the video, get rid of all of these black lines, and then we'll turn it back on. Okay guys, so coming into this market next week, we are testing at very key levels. Yeah, this whole section up here. Market has shown a few very strong rejections, and those rejections have produced significant selling pressure. Now, although we've broken up from this trend line, and we had the head and shoulders similar to the S&P, there is the potential here that we are having a bit of a head and shoulders pattern, which would be a bearish sign. Doesn't mean the market is going to collapse, but we're looking at it in terms of what are other traders looking at. What is it suggesting for us? So really what it's suggesting for me is I'm happy to sell into this market. Really the key support level remains the same as last week, 6605 to 6554. Let me just zoom in just a little bit so we can see it. So 6564, where the market has been testing multiple times, it's been holding. You can actually see it when you draw the line. You can see it almost fits like a jigsaw. The market's spiking up to test at it, spiking up, holding there. As we break through, we start to come down to test at the level. For me, that is pretty much the pivot point. Similar to last week, where we went over the pivot point. Up above here, yeah, happy to look for the bullish bounces. If we start breaking down below here now, I would say even in comparison to the S&P, there's less support here. We've got the spike down at around about 6540 for potential support. But if we're breaking down below this level, I would really be expecting to see at least MA200 tested and 6432 to 6400. So if we're starting to break down below this level. So if we're breaking down, it's really good to look for potential sells. Up above, it remains good for those bullish bounces. Up above there, we also have 6650 to 6637. We've already had a bounce off of this coming into Friday. Remains good support. Also with this one, breaks down below. good to start looking for that move back down into that very key level that we've got. Really, this is the main focus coming into next week for me. Up above, I'm happy to sell at our zones 1 and 2. And we want to obviously take into account, don't want a nice pink line. Let's change this back to black. Back to black, if any of you like rock music. Good reference. Right, okay, so previous highs sitting at 6857. Really, 6860. And about here. Down toward, now we don't want to take it too low. Let's have a look. 6830 right here. Now what we're looking at, if we remember all the way back, if you've been watching these videos for any length of time, when we were looking at the market all the way back, using this level of price action, yeah, giving us a little clue for potential resistance. As we've started to move forward, the market's been testing, holding at the level and testing right here. This remains strong resistance now, as does this one down below. Strong resistance. That's why if the market is starting to come back up once again, I'm still happy to look for potential sell positions. Also above this level, also the buys on the way down. If we start breaking down below here, for me the market is then starting to turn more bearish. And I would be expecting that move down to 6430 to 6400. Okay guys, that is everything for this week. As I mentioned, I will put the main zones down below so you can copy them. Yeah, I hope you all have a good trading week next week. I hope that was helpful. I'm James Orr, and thank you.